Please give a warm welcome to Carolyn Cousins-Goldman, TM.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I think you can all agree the best gifts do come in small packages. Tonight, I'd like to share with you a story from when I was very young. The year was 1959. I remember it very well. We lived in Northridge, and it was 3 days before Christmas. My brother had gone out to the garage to take his car to drive to a friend's house that lived about a mile away. As he drove the car down the driveway, he proceeded to the friend's house and he parked the car. But then, as he opened up the driver's door to exit the car, he saw a flash of white and black that just skimmed past his head. He couldn't believe it. It was our family cat who had been in the back seat, unbeknownst to my brother. Well, he was just frantic. He ran around the neighborhood trying to find this cat, saying, "Bingo, Bingo, where are you?" He went to his friend's house. The friend went with him for hours. They scoured the neighborhood. They scoured the neighborhood to find our Bingo. Couldn't find him. My brother had the onerous task of coming home and telling us that our pet, Bingo, was lost. Now let me tell you a little bit about Bingo. Bingo was the most beautiful cat that ever lived. We'd gotten him when I was a little kid, and he was just gorgeous. He had big green eyes, black and white fur, and it was semi-long fur. He was very unusual looking. He was what you call a tuxedo. A tuxedo cat is a cat that has white on the front, little white paws, and Bingo even had a little stripe on his face of white. The rest was all shimmering black. Not only was he beautiful, but he was the most gentle, sweet cat you could ever meet. In fact, my brother even taught him how to shake hands. He would sit on the stool in the kitchen, and as we walked by, he would lift his little paw and shake hands with us. It was so adorable. So as you can imagine, we loved Bingo. Well, when Charles came home and told us the bad news, we were devastated. My brother and my father said, "Okay, what we're going to do is tomorrow we'll put out signs with Bingo's picture and our phone number. We'll plaster them all over the neighborhood. We'll plaster them all over the neighborhood surrounding the neighborhood where he was lost." And that's what they did. They went out and plastered photos everywhere. It took hours. They came home that night. And then we waited. We waited for that phone call from the kindly neighbor that would say, "Guess what? I have your Bingo. Come and pick him up." We waited and waited. No call came. We waited through the next day and the next day, through Christmas Eve, and there was no Bingo. By Christmas Day, we'd pretty much given up on getting him back. We figured that he'd been either hit by a car or had been killed by a predator. It was the worst Christmas we ever had, and I can tell you, it was truly the worst Christmas I ever had in my entire life. Well, the next day, my brother was in the backyard and he was shooting hoops. He'd just gotten a nice basketball from my dad. So as he was shooting the hoops, as he shot one of these hoops, the ball went behind the hoop, the basketball hoop. So he ran after it. It rolled down the driveway. He stopped. He was shocked. He saw the little matted black and white ball of fur crawling up the driveway. Bingo, his hands or his paws were all bloody. His fur was all matted. He had found his way home and had gotten in a lot of cat fights in the meantime. Charles was ecstatic. He grabbed Bingo up in his arms. He ran to my mom and said, "Mom, guess what? Bingo's home." We couldn't believe it. I'd been praying to God, oh, I'd do anything. I would be a nice kid. Just bring my Bingo back. Well, we got him back that day. And the interesting thing is that my parents took him to the vet. There was not a broken bone. There was no internal injuries. Just needed a cleanup and some days of rest, as you can imagine. And he was as good as new for the next 10 years that we had him. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I think you can agree that the best gifts in life are in small packages. They may be your kitten, they may be your little dog, they may be your child, your husband, your wife, family member, or a good friend. But whatever it is, whoever it is, remember, absolutely, the best gifts in life do come in small packages. Mr. Toastmaster.